How's it going, folks? Taylor Kowski here, just hanging out at the park with Adonis on this beautiful day. And just wanted to talk a little bit about the benefits of using a long line. So Adonis is on a 20-foot long line right now. I just kind of tied it around my wrist. He does not yank and pull me down. If your dog is not used to giving into pressure or very light, I do not recommend doing this. Very dangerous. Just hold it with your hand normally, or hold it with 2 hands. But the benefit about using a long line is so that you're, one, abiding by the laws, keeping your dog leashed, because pretty much everywhere in the U.S. are leash laws. And those are there for a reason. They're there to keep the dog safe, people safe. This is a great tool if your dog is not totally reliable off-leash, or you're in an area where the leash law is enforced, such as public parks, or just your general area, your general neighborhood. So for Adonis, he's not entirely trustworthy, we'll say, off-leash, and that is no fault of his own. I just have not taken enough time to work with him off-leash. For me, it's, of course, I'd absolutely love it. I know he would love it. That would be a great benefit for him. But for me, there's just no, I don't have a particular need or want to let him off-leash. Again, I'm a big advocate of just using a long line. Gives your dog great amounts of freedom. Takes training and time to get used to how to use the long line, so you don't tangle yourself, you don't get rope burns or anything like that. So always shorten it when you're coming up on a person or another dog, just like you would with a regular leash or a flexi lead. Adonis does use a flexi lead every now and then. If I'm too lazy to use the long line, or I don't want to get wet and drag him in the grass. He does know how to walk very nicely on leash. So that's why we use the flexi lead. So if you have a dog that's very well trained on leash, then you want to use the flexi lead, and you are very aware of space between you and other people and other dogs, and your dog is not reactive, then that might be a good idea. Anytime you use a tool, make sure you know how to use it properly. Read the instructions if it needs instructions, and just abide by your local and state laws. I made this video today because a lot of people, especially in this area, like to walk around with their dogs off leash, and that is a big pet peeve of mine. Not only because Adonis can be a little reactive with dogs running towards him, and I don't blame him one bit, but because there's a lot of dogs I work with that are reactive towards dogs on leash, let alone off leash. And a lot of those dogs off leash are not trained. So that's a big pet peeve of mine, that people kind of take that for granted. They kind of think that they're special, I guess. I don't know. Their dog listens to them just fine. So they don't think they need to worry about anybody else. They have their dog under control. Even if you do, that's great, that your dog does great off leash. But if you're going to an area and you see other people, come on, bud. Good boy. If you're coming to an area and you see other people, put your dog on leash. Keep him next to you. Even Adonis is on a leash now. If there's someone coming down the street or this little road here, I would shorten him up just to make them more comfortable. It's really just about being a good neighbor, Again, abiding by the laws. We have these laws for a reason, so I know I'm kind of probably leash patrol, I'm leash police. And yeah, that's okay. I deal with a lot of dogs that are reactive on leash. And that would be equally reactive off-leash, because yes, we have tested with them off-leash, without barrier, aggression, all that. I mean, of course, they're muzzled, everything is safe, but it's just for safety. So, just thought I'd talk about that a little bit. The main point of this video is to talk about, the great thing about a long line is that your dog can have that freedom that they want. Adonis is hanging out within limits. If I were to let him go, of course, he'd go check out this whole neighborhood. Probably take a couple hours, then come back. And who knows what kind of trouble he would get into. And it's not because he's mean or a bad dog or anything, but, I'm not going to be bothering other people because I'm letting my dog go chasing cats, and, he would never attack him. He just likes to sniff them, but hey, if anything's running full blast towards you, that's not really a friendly greeting, is it? So just trying to educate people and remind them If you want your dog to have freedom, then long lines are great. They have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet leashes that are really, really great for dogs who are maybe sight hounds or scent hounds that might kind of take off after distractions. And if you're not really, you don't have the time or the means to train them to be reliable off leash, you don't want to use a shock collar or anything like that. Put it on a harness, preferably if they're going to be on a long line, just in case they get snagged, they're not going to hurt themselves or choke themselves or anything like that. They're not going to cause any damage. And just go out and have fun and sniff and learn how to use your leash. Learn how to reel it in using 2 hands. Shorten it up like this. You can let it slide out of your hand. You can loop it. You can do whatever you want. Adonis is just, I'm not holding him back. He's literally just standing there, just taking in this, this little area. Hi, Bobby. And he's having a good time here. He's enjoying it. He has freedom. I'm not right next to him. If I wanted him to have a longer leash, I could have him on his 50-footer. Here, it's a bit of a nuisance because there's, I'm not in a forest area. There's other people around, and I want to be respectful. So that's the main thing about keeping your dog on leash, is just being respectful of other people. If there's no one around, then go for it. And you want your dog to be off leash, go for it. As long as they're reliable, they are safe, other people and other animals are safe. If you see people coming up, call your dog back, leash them up for that little bit of time. If you see those people are hanging out, keep your dog on leash. Don't just leash them while the people walk by and then unleash them again. People do that all the time, and to me that's very annoying. And even if your dog is friendly, it doesn't mean all other dogs are friendly, especially if they're leashed. If your dog is charging and running at another dog full blast, I don't care what anybody says, that's not a friendly greeting. Adonis will take that as a challenge or a threat, and he will act accordingly. And he's trapped because he's on leash, so don't let your dog run up to another dog on leash. That's a good way to set that dog off to be reactive, start a dog fight, and guess what? You're going to be the one that's in trouble because your dog is the one running up on another dog, and yours is off leash, or what they call at large. If your dog is running loose, make sure they have a collar and tags, please, so people know that they're not just a stray. They're, if they do happen to get lost or someone chases them down or something happens, they always have identification tags, so we know how to take them and get them back home safely. So again, it's just me being, I don't know, leash patrol or leash police, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of trying to remind people that we can all have a good time. The people with dogs that might be reactive, or even like Adonis, he's not aggressive, he's just, he feels trapped on leash like any other dog would. Kind of letting people know that a lot of people don't appreciate that. A lot of people are afraid of dogs, even if they don't have any animals. There's just a person walking by, they don't even have a dog. That's a good, reminder to keep your dog leashed, just because there's just people around. A lot of people are afraid of dogs. Even if your dog is friendly, it doesn't matter. They don't want your dog up in their face or in their space. Maybe they're allergic, they had a bad reaction, whatever. Bicyclists might be worried about running over your dog or your dog chasing them on a bike. So, especially if your dog is just running around and they're 20, 30 yards away from you, that's not okay in my book. That's just rude. I'm going to straight up say it. That's rude. Take accountability for yourself and your animal. Keep them within 6 to 10 feet around your area max, okay? Don't let your dog be 20 feet away from you like Adonis is, especially if there's other people around, because you don't know who could be around the corner, or if there's anybody's, outdoor cats hanging around. I'm not a big fan of loose roaming cats, period. But I like to have a little outdoor area for them that's, safe and fenced in, but good boy, Adonis. So we're just walking through here. So a lot of times people don't worry about calling the dog back until it's too late. And that's usually when that's an issue. So please, people, just keep your dogs on leash. If you want them to have freedom and space, get them a long line. Learn how to use it. Teach them how to use it. Make it fun. Just like Adonis is having fun eating grass here. Apparently he thinks he's a cow. Nah, he's getting nutrients he feels he needs. He might have an upset stomach, or he just thinks something here tastes good. So anyway, we will end that rant there. Thanks for listening. If you've ever had any bad experiences, sorry to hear that, but feel free to put them in the comments below. Or if you've never had a reactive dog and then you recently got one, you learned, hey, there's a difference between your typical Labrador that's fine everywhere and your new dog that's reactive, such as Zeus. Like the whole story of Zeus and Lucy. If you don't know that, he's a great dog. I'm working with him, I'm training him. He's on the channel. There's a whole series of him from the beginning to currently, and he's doing really well. So we'll end that there. Thank you very much for listening. Try to get you a better shot other than Adonis' little butt. Adonis! Oh, bud. Alright, here, we'll zoom in. Hello! Alright, so thanks, folks. Have a good one and stay safe out there and stay positive.